Hi Jack, my name is Elise and I'm going to be your occupational therapist today. It looks like you've been referred to OT by your physician due to your rheumatoid arthritis, and it's just my role as an OT to help enable you to see some improvements and just adjust to any limitations so you can fully engage in any activities and roles that you find meaningful in your daily life. So to start out, will you just tell me a little bit about your symptoms of your rheumatoid arthritis and just kind of what limitations you're seeing in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed from my physician about a year ago and was put on medication to help with the pain and to just help me live my life a little bit better. It affects both of my hands, fingers, and then wrists. In particular, I feel like my left wrist is a little more, the movement's less in my left wrist, and noticeably when I'm at work or in the mornings, when I'm in the mornings, they're just stiff in both hands. And then at work I type a lot, and I feel like the motion or the movement in my left wrist is limited in comparison to how it used to be. And then the base of my index finger on my left hand is really sore when I try to grab things.
And right now, what would you say your pain is at on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most painful?
Throughout the day it's probably a 3 or a 4, and then it increases when I'm active or when I'm typing or anything like that.
Okay. And mainly in your wrists and your fingers, right?
Correct. Mainly in my left wrist, and then my index, the base of my index finger.
Okay. And a lot of stiffness in the mornings.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to do some range of motion and then manual muscle testing assessments just to give us some indication of what the movement, the range of motion looks like at your joints, in particular the ones that you're saying you feel like are affected the most, and then we're just going to see kind of what the strength looks like at those areas as well. So first we're just going to run through some functional range of motion just kind of based on what you're saying. So I'm going to see, can you bring your wrists back for me please? And then can you go out to the side? Okay, and then I just want you to kind of make a fist, and then can I see you extend back out a bit? Okay, so now we're going to go into some range of motion. It looks like for the most part your right side looks very functional, and then on your left I am seeing some limitations, so we are going to want to get those measurements. So I'm going to start with wrist extension with your left hand, and I'm going to have you kind of adjust so it's off the table a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the axis of my goniometer on your ulnar styloid, and then for the first motion I'm going to have you do the work. So just bring your wrist back as much as you can.
It hurts to go past that point.
Okay. All right, it looks like you are at about 50 degrees, so 0 to 50, so I'm just going to write that down, and then I'm going to passively do that, but I won't go past your point of pain. So again, I'm going to find your ulnar styloid and put this one in line with your fifth carpal. Okay, and it looks like about the same 0 to 50, and I'm just going to note that end feel as being kind of pathological empty end feel because it's being stopped by pain. The next one that we're going to move on to is going to be the ulnar deviation on your left hand. So I'm going to have you sit with your left hand out, and I'm going to go at the base of your third metacarpal over the capitate. And this time I'm just going to have you go pinky to your wrist for me, please.
That's as far as I can go before it hurts.
Okay. I'm going to write that down as 0 to 15 for your active, and then this time I'm going to, so we're going to go back, I'm going to find your capitate, and then this time I'm going to, okay, it looks like I was able to get a little bit more, don't want to cause you any pain, so we're going to mark that down as 0 to 20, and I'm going to write the same thing. It looks like a pathological end feel, it's empty, it's being stopped by pain. And then finally we're going to do MCP flexion and extension. So I'm going to have you sit with your hand in neutral. And first we're going to do flexion. So I'm going to go and I'm going to put my goniometer at the dorsal aspect of your MC. And I just want you to bring this joint, flex it for me. Okay. And it looks like I'm getting about 55 degrees. Down. And this time I'm going I was able to get about 65. And I'm gonna write that one down. That's about bogey end feel. I can definitely feel the inflammation stopping. That's typically a hard end feel, but I can definitely feel the inflammation stopping that one. And then we're gonna go back, and I'm just gonna see you start with your finger flexed, and then we're gonna extend it back out. So I'm just gonna note what we're starting at. The axis is still going on the base of your index fingers, metacarpal. Okay, and I'm gonna have you extend your finger out for me, please. Okay, good job. And this one looks like you started at about 70, and you were able to extend it out to about 5 degrees, so then I'm gonna passively do this one. So we're gonna start. And then I'm gonna bring your finger. Okay, starting point's still the same, but I was able to extend that one out to 0 degrees. But definitely can feel bogey and feels a little pathological. Okay, so now we are going to do the manual muscle testing. So for this one, I am going to just see your wrist extension. I'm just going to stabilize kind of your distal forearm, and can I just see you bring your wrist back for me, please?
Can't go any further than that.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that that is an incomplete range of motion against gravity, so that would be a 3 minus. If I were to need to palpate the muscles for this one, if I had to put you in a gravity eliminated position, and then I didn't see the motion need to palpate for any contraction, the 3 muscles that I would be looking for would be your extensor carpi radialis longus at the base of your second metacarpal on the dorsal distal aspect of your forearm. I would then look for your extensor carpi radialis brevis at the base of your third MC on the distal dorsal aspect of your forearm. And then finally, I would want to look for your extensor carpi ulnaris at the base of your 5th metacarpal, in between that and your fissiform. No, excuse me, your ulnar styloid. Okay, and then the next one we're going to move into, we're going to do MCP flexion and extension. So for flexion, I'm going to have you go palm up, and I just want to see, I'm going to stabilize you down here, and I just kind of want to see if you can bring your fingers up. Okay, looks like I'm seeing some incomplete range of motion at your index finger, so that's going to be a 3 minus as well. For flexion, what I would need to be palpating if I had to put you in the gravity eliminated position would be your lumbricals, but those are non-palpatable. Now I'm going to flip, and I'm just going to see what the extension of this finger looks like. So I'm just going to stabilize you again. Can you bring your fingers up? Okay, so I'm noting incomplete range of motion against gravity, so that one's a 3 minus as well. I'm going to write that down. And then if I needed to put you in the gravity eliminated position to assess if I needed to see contraction, if I wasn't seeing movement with that extension, I would be feeling for your extensor digitorum at the head of your MC on the dorsal aspect. All right, thank you so much for coming in today. We will get these marked down, and we'll get started on planning your interventions.
Thank you.